I'm Natalie, and my favorite thing to do is cook dope meals and eat good food. I went to culinary school and have been cooking in kitchens for 15 years. I even got to cook for and meet my culinary crush, Padma. I definitely enjoyed parts of the hustle and bustle, but the demand of the industry nearly made me lose my passion, and I yearned to carve my own path with food. So I quit it all to live in a van with my wife and 2 dogs. Now I travel the country, expanding my view of the world and my palate, and I want to take you along. Join me for awesome plant-based meals cooked out in nature and my tiny van kitchen. Let's play, ride, and eat. Welcome back, guys. How'd you like my new intro? I think it's pretty cool. So I had a viewer say in a comment that they thought it would be really cool if I had a set intro to go into each episode. And I was like, that's a really cool idea. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Today I'm going to be making a mushroom bolognese. So it's an Italian red sauce pasta typically made with a pork product, but I'm going to use mushroom to get that same kind of texture. Also, I'm going to show you a couple of tips on how to make a pasta not be lame, a couple of things you could do to just up your game no matter what pasta you're making. I'm going to touch really quick on my cast iron pans. I've had a viewer ask me about them and how to season them, so I want to talk about it just real quick. To season a cast iron pan, what you need to do is have a neutral oil that has a high smoke point, and you're going to use that at a high heat for a certain amount of time, and that's going to basically oxidize the fat that's in the oil, and it's going to bond. The fat bonds are going to collect onto the iron, and it's going to leave a sheen, kind of a shiny coating, which is basically you're making your own non-stick skillet. If you're a home cook, you can take this, put a little bit of that neutral oil in, and wipe it on the pan, and you're going to put it in your oven at a very high heat. You could do it at broil, I believe, on the oven. Do it for about an hour, and then you're going to wipe it, and you would actually continue that a few times. So that's not like a simple technique. What I do, since I live out in the wild, is I take the pan with the oil, I put it on the fire, and then it only goes for about 20 to 30 minutes. You're going to see it start smoking, and that's what you want. So then once the fat turns to the liquid, and it has a chance to sit on the pan, it's going to give it the sheen, and then you're ready to cook. Secondly, when do you need to season your pan? Your pan will basically let you know. If your pan is dry or starting to rust, or it just doesn't look shiny anymore, or food is starting to stick to the pan, then you need to re-season it. So you use the same process. I mean, look at this boo, okay? I've been using this thing pretty much every night that I cook for me and Abby for the last 2 years, and I've had it for 3, and I mean, it looks amazing. It's very versatile. It will last you a lifetime if you take care of it. So just make sure that you do that if you're using cast irons. Hopefully that helped you, viewer that asked. And let's get back to the show. Also, this episode's beer feature is Hazy Little Thing by Sierra Nevada. It's one of my favorites. I love hazy, so I love IPAs, but I also very much love the hazy unfiltered. And this is my go-to. It's a low ABV so that I can drink it all day if I'd like. Also, Sierra Nevada, I'm so excited. Abby and I are so close to Asheville, and we're going back to this brewery. It's one of our favorite breweries. We went there on a 2nd anniversary. Also, I'm not going to talk about stock because Abby's mad because she says literally every video I cover it. But basically, really quick, all the vegetables that are going to the sauce are in here, including the stems of the fresh herbs that'll go in at the end. Abby, stop it. Okay? Let's talk about the mushrooms. So I'm going to be using oyster mushrooms. They come in clumps. So you're just going to tear off the mushroom. You can cut them, but I'm a savage. I've lived out in the wild. So I'm going to tear them off. This little end clump is going to also go in the stock. Abby, stop getting mad. I'm also going to be using more classic portobello, baby portobello. You're going to have a couple different sizes in here. There's a lot of moisture in mushrooms, so the more you cut them, they're going to shrink. So the larger ones, I'm going to quarter. I don't want to cut them too much. The more medium, you can just half, and then these smaller ones, don't even cut them at all, because again, they're going to shrink down. You want to keep some nice texture in your sauce. My beautiful wife is cutting my onions, my sous chef, because they make me cry so bad. She has contacts, so she's an X-Men.
They don't make me cry.
So she always cuts my onions, so I need to show her my little sous chef baby. So I have a small yellow onion, medium dice. Thank you, baby. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right. So to start my cast iron, I have 1 large smashed garlic and some olive oil. That's going to give the olive oil some more flavor. And then I have my oyster mushrooms going in. I'm just tearing them nicely. Now these have a little bit more bite than the portobello. That's why I'm starting with these. And typically in a bolognese, you have pancetta that gets nice and salty. So I'm using these mushrooms that I'm going to cook down really, really hard. They lose all of their moisture, and they're going to have a little bit of that same texture, umami content to start. I'm going to add a little salt to that. And then those are literally gonna cook. I'm gonna start with a high heat, and then I'm gonna let it come down to low, and I'm gonna cook them until they're basically nothing. And then you're gonna have these amazing like bites. Don't mind me, second beer. The first set of mushrooms are where I want them. I mean, they're beautiful, look at that. So I'm gonna set them aside. I mean, they're crispy, look at that. Oh, that's what you want. You hear that? So now I'm gonna start with my portobello. Same oil, same sexy oil, okay? Portobellos go in. I'm cooking these mushrooms in stages because they all have different textures. And the problem I think with most people that don't like mushrooms is because they don't get cooked correctly. So you're left with this like chewy, like jelly-like, you know, consistency, which people don't like. So I'm going to show you a dope way to make mushrooms so that maybe you can get somebody that doesn't like them to like them. We're going to cook those down same way. Couple minutes. Okay. Portobellos are where I want them. This is my secret to even more umami mushrooms for later in the sauce. Marsala wine. I'm going to deglaze the pan just quickly. Come here. Get in here, girl. You ready for this? I wish you could taste this mushroom. Let that wine cook out. And then I'm going to set those aside as well. Okay. Pan goes back on the heat. Okay. We've got complex oil in here now, okay? Because 2 different mushrooms are cooked in there. I'm going to add a little more olive oil, just a pinch. Fresh fennel, carrot, peppers, onions, and garlic. Going in. You can already see it picking up the brown bits from the mushroom oil. Woo-hoo-hoo! All that flavor is going to stay in there, okay? So at this point, any dry seasoning you want to put in there has got to go in. I'm going to do a little bit of dried oregano. 1 large bay leaf.
It's me, bay leaf.
So now that the vegetables have caramelized down, they are sweated now, I'm going to re-add my oyster mushrooms. Now I'm re-adding these now because all that amazing flavor concentrated into the mushroom, they suck up. And I'm going to put them back in so they can rehydrate and add that flavor back into the vegetables. Okay, so this is how you're going to get that complex flavor that you would get in a bolognese. We're adding tomato paste. So I'm letting tomato paste toast into the vegetables, okay? We're gonna keep cooking that flavor inside. The tomato paste is gonna give it a little bit of a sweetness, and it's gonna thicken the sauce, and it's gonna make it, boom, red wine. You're gonna deglaze with red wine, okay? That's gonna give you even more of a complex flavor, okay? We like black box, okay? BYOBB, bring your own black box. We're classy. Going in, deglaze. Now that might seem like a lot, but normally I would use a whole bottle of red wine and let that jank cook down for like hours because it's really gonna deepen the flavor. And since we're not using meat, we wanna make the flavor as complex as possible. Okay, so red wine, baby. So it's gonna reduce for probably 5 minutes. That red wine has reduced, there's still a little liquid, but all that alcohol is out and you just look at that. You get this nice, thick, sexual, thick, sexual. So now I'm gonna add 1 fresh Roma tomato, chopped, 1 can of tomato sauce. Pro tip, again, I'm not about wasting anything, so there's still a lot of tomato in that can. So the veg stock that I'm going to use, I'm going to pour a little bit in the can, do a little swisheroo, and then that goes in. That way all the tomato sauce is out of there. Okay. Oh my god, this smells amazing. I'm trying to tell you right now. It's a little thick. We're going to add that veg stock. Got my yellow bowl. Very classy. About that much. That's going to cook down for about an hour. So the longer you cook a bolognese, you're going to pull that flavor out. You want to do it on low, you can cover it and just let it go, okay? Have this going, go do your thing, go take care of your kids, go homeschool, go do some yoga, whatever you do during pandemic, and come back to it because it's going to be so dope. Oh my god. So the key to sexy pasta is making the sauce yourself, okay? You've got time, and if you don't have time, buy a can of marinara and doctor it up by putting the red wine in there, put a couple of fresh herbs at the end, you know, a little something, something, just, you know, and if you do have the time, make this freaking recipe, because I'm trying to tell you, it makes all the difference in a sexy pasta, okay? Sexy pasta. Keyword. Clickbait. Sexy pasta. We said in the title, so we gotta reiterate it, okay? Sexy pasta sauce. Secret to sexy pasta. Reserve your pasta water. The starch from the pasta is going to thicken the water, and the salt that you put in there is going to flavor the water, so it's basically its own stock. Some of that's going to go back into the sauce. I'm going to cool this pasta down immediately so it doesn't keep cooking. It's a perfect al dente. Another pro tip to having sexy pasta, add a little more seasoning and more oil because you want to make sure that your pasta's not going to stick together. And then that thing's good to go until you're ready to use it in a sauce. Okay. Pasta sauce has been going for about an hour. That's a joke. That's what cooking shows tell you. Okay, it's been like 30 minutes, but we're going to tell you it's been an hour. You should cook yours for an hour. But it's nice and thick. Look at that. Look at it, it's beautiful. Look how sexy it is. We are going to take our sexy freaking portobellos that we made and add them back. This is when you add them back so they don't lose all that beautiful texture. Cutting the heat. And I'm just going to roll them into it. Okay? Bam. The last step now is just going to be our fresh herbs. I'm adding a little bit of sun-dried tomato because Abby freaking loves sun-dried tomato, so I chopped her some sun-dried tomato, okay, Poonie? And also some fresh thyme and fresh basil. You want to add the fresh herb at the end so that it maintains its integrity. Fresh herb has a very beautiful floral, pungent aroma, and you don't want to ruin that by letting it cook into the sauce. So any herbs that you're going to add while the cooking process is happening should be dried. And you add your fresh at the end. It's just proper. It's just a beautiful thing to do. There's our bolognese. It's freaking gorgeous. Look at that. Oof. Okay. So another pro tip, just for plating because it's cool. You're going to take your pasta in a tong. You're going to drop it. And then you're going to keep it closed. Spin your wrist. Spin as you let go. And keep it in this nice, tight, beautiful, lifted mound so that it looks beautiful, okay? So let's see what my wife Abby thinks about the pasta. Okay.
Let's see. Oh my gosh.
Does it
It's
taste
so
like
good.
it's been cooking for years?
Yes. Let's be real. I'm not a huge fan of pasta and red sauce, but Natalie's pappardelle with mushroom bolognese gets me. It's so good. I'm gonna eat this whole plate.
She likes it. She approves. Alright, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Figure Out and Eat. Hopefully you will make this bolognese or at least get some cool tips about how to make dope pasta. Thank you so much to the people that have been watching. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time. So good. Should we Lady in the Tramp it?
Oh, definitely. Look at this.
Oh my god.
Love you.
Love you. That's ridiculous.
I'm gonna bam.
Ooh, what's going on? Something sexy's going on in there.
I'm hoping for it to, like, de-steam itself. It's not happening.
It can't. It's too hot. It's too sexual.
When East meets West. When white meets brown, people. Woo, girl, you ready for that footwork? Ow!